You're listening to Rodney Rogers Outdoors Radio, where we turn it upside down and look at the outside from the inside out. It's safe, it's legal, and we're having a blast. So put your shoes on, my friend, because we're going outdoors.
Welcome to Rodney Rogers Outdoors. I am Rodney Rogers. That right there.
Yes, you are.
Is my partner,
Yes, I am.
Co-Cheese in Crime, Mike the Man himself.
I'm excited.
Mike Coy, how are you, brother?
You do what you got to do, and then when you're done with that, you do it some more.
And then you just keep and you and repeat.
Rinse and repeat.
Rinse and repeat. How are you, my brother?
I'm good.
Man, I missed you last week,
I missed
Mike.
you too.
I mean, what seems that I just mess everything up is just everything.
Camera's not live.
Oh, okay.
That one's not. So good. No, I'm good. I'm excited. You know why?
Did I knock it offline?
No, no.
Okay.
No, we build things to last around here, Rodney.
Right. I see that. So yeah, man, I missed you last week. I mean, obviously, I was in the Keys and we did a live show. And I think I think we pulled it off very well. I think we kind of did it.
I could see you. I could hear you.
Voila.
You could see and hear me. So, yeah, I think it was a success.
Show was a success.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Why are you excited?
Because this is this show is why we started this broadcast, middle of the week touch base thing.
Absolutely.
This show
has morphed into what we meant it to be.
Exactly right.
Does that sound right?
Yeah. And when I see these shows coming down the track, those are the ones I'm excited about.
Exactly.
Because although I wasn't with you this weekend, it's those outdoor weekend adventures
that we originally.
Yeah, let's get together on Tuesday night and let's just lay it on. Let's sort it out.
That was the whole premise of the whole show.
Yeah, I want to hear the behind the scenes stories. Yeah, because you can go live on Facebook or produce a video and do that.
Right.
But it's all the behind the stuff is where the
meat and potatoes.
Yeah, exactly.
That's exactly right.
And that's really why we started saying let's do a show so we can just get together and talk about the weekend adventures. And tonight is that night, So I'm looking forward to tonight.
And as we've said 1,000 times, you kid no.
Yeah. And we're out of here.
As we said 1,000 times, this is our 1 hour vacation during the week. I mean, this is why we did it, and it seemed frustrating in the beginning. We just couldn't seem to. I think you and I had the same vision, and it just wasn't.
Yeah,
it wasn't gelling.
Yeah,
and then we quit trying.
Well, then
poof, here it is.
Yeah, no, exactly. And I think then we realized, well, you know what? Maybe we actually have to get outdoors.
Actually,
to make this show make sense.
I think that was the big thing. I think we just said, you know what, we are going to have to get outdoors at some point.
Yeah.
So.
But you did it, and from what I hear, what happens in the Keys stays in the Keys. So
we're bringing it home.
So
Mike.
Start talking, Rodney. Start dishing it out, my friend.
We are absolutely bringing it home. So as you know, I got so much to talk about, man, and it's in my head. I'm going, can we squeeze this in an hour?
No,
and there's just no way. So as you know, that we went down there in a hurricane, so we made the best of it. And is this what everybody's seeing right now?
Not yet, but we will.
Okay, so.
You no longer have to turn it around right
now.
I
know. It's habit now. You got this
world, yeah.
You act like we've got our stuff together here. I don't know how to act. So, and Nick and I, obviously, we got down. We were so excited. We left that Friday and we shot down in the Keys and we wanted lobster bad. And we checked every bridge. At nighttime we got the spotlights out and we're just doing our thing. So we get there, that Saturday morning. And check-in's not till 3 o'clock, and our boat wasn't supposed to be picked up till Monday.
So we could go Saturday. So today I'm messed up because of the holidays. So today's Tuesday. Okay, so we could go Saturday. So when you arrived in Marathon.
Marathon Key, exactly. At Hawks Cay, we were right at the start of the 7 Mile Bridge. And when I say at the start, I mean I could have threw a rock at it. Really? There was like us, a vacant or a vacation house, an empty lot, the tiki bar, and the bridge, the start of the bridge.
What more do you need?
Oh, my God. Tiki bar was amazing, brother. Oh, okay. So, so what you're seeing, what we did is the water was so rough. You can't tell here in this picture, but the water was so rough that we fished off this dock. So we're like catching snapper. So Saturday night we're like wanting fish tacos. So we're catching snapper just one after another. You know, they got to be 10 inches, and about every other snapper was, 11 or 12 inches long. So we're throwing them in the cooler. And then all of a sudden we're filleting our snappers, and we start throwing them out, and then pow, something busts the top water. And then me and Nick look at each other like, oh my God, we know what that was.
Really?
We heard the sound and immediately knew exactly.
So you didn't have your line in the water at that point?
No, we didn't
You
have our
saw
line in
it.
the water. So I grabbed a piece of fish. I threw it in the water. This thing came up and pow, hit it and just and broke the line instantly. So Nick thought, well, maybe my hook's better. And he threw it in and done the same thing. And we both looked at each other and said, okay, bigger pole. So I went and got my deep sea rods, my trolling rods, and we hooked some big hooks on them. And then, we both hooked Goliath groupers. Mine popped off, and then pow. We reeled in a 70-pound Goliath grouper right off the dock.
Really?
I mean, right there, right at our feet. So that's pretty. Our keys started out with a bang.
Wow.
Almost immediately.
Wow.
So, and I got to, I'm going to shoot this out there. I got a ton of email saying, oh, you're not supposed to take them out of the water. You're not supposed to, all the internet police.
You heard of it, huh?
Yeah.
I mean, you heard it, huh? From the
yeah.
people.
The trolls, what we call internet trolls. Anyway, Goliath that small, you're absolutely allowed to take out. They recommend that you do. They just recommend that you be careful.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, because they need some air.
Absolutely, fresh air. A little fresh air never hurt nobody.
They need to get out of the house a little bit.
Exactly. So,
can you imagine just being cooped up in that ocean
every day,
all the time,
all your life. So. As you know, Goliath groupers are protected in the state of Florida.
Please tell me Nick didn't actually lick that thing, because his tongue was just.
I thought he was. We were pretty excited. I mean, this is his first Goliath. I've still not caught a Goliath. Of all the ones I've hooked in my life, I've never got one up.
That is
to get a picture.
A bizarre in a good way looking fish.
It's just amazing, man. This thing fought. If you look behind him, there's like a sink to the right. You see the sink spigot?
Okay.
And then to the left, there's a pole, and he had to come around that pole. And now there's not enough room for a fat guy holding onto a big fish to squeeze around a pole. So I had to hug around him and hold him to the pole as he came around the pole and fought this fish up to where we can get him.
Oh, sure, yeah.
So as I lipped this thing, I leaned over to lip this grouper, and let me give you a little word of advice right now. Never lip a Goliath grouper. Never do that. So they got teeth that are major.
Really?
Yeah, these things aren't no joke.
So add that to the no lip
luckily,
column.
Yes, do not lip. Do not lip a sea trout nor a Goliath grouper.
This is a good list.
This is a good list.
This list might not actually exist. We may be creating this.
We may have to create the no lip list. Lipless list.
This is the front of the shirt, the lip side, and the no lip on the back.
No lip.
Think about it. Just
trout.
Think
back,
about it.
No lip. Yeah. So I had to, kind of get him in the gills. But once I got him stable, I didn't want to pull him up by his jaw because it was a big fish. Sure. This was a 70-pound fish. So I didn't want to pull him up, yank him up by his jaw. So once I had him secure, I knew we wouldn't get away. Nick came over and we picked him up out of the water together. So took a few quick pictures, and this is what we got. And literally, this is probably one of the few pictures that we got because we let him go so fast.
Who took the picture?
And that was Russ that took that picture. Russ Rollins, 104.1, that went down with us.
This is one of my favorite pictures.
Yeah, he took that picture, and man, did he ever do a jam-up job.
Yeah, you know why, though? Because not necessarily because it's a great-looking fish, because the look on you guys' face.
Oh, yeah. Legitimate.
Those pictures that really show joy, happiness, excitement, that's contagious, that you can't fake or hide.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That picture has it all. Not to mention there is a cool-looking fish in there.
Not to mention the dude on the right, though. I mean, you got to that smile. The tongue hanging out says it all.
I thought it was Gene Simmons for a second.
Yeah, the tongue hanging out.
But I've seen some, groupers before have never looked that interesting to me.
Exactly. Well, there's
for the most part, they're very ugly.
Yeah, exactly. The black grouper is beautiful. A lot of times these get mistaken for black groupers, but you see the stripes, the 3 stripes?
Right, exactly.
You know, actually 4. There's one right on the tail.
Okay.
That's the easiest way to tell a young Goliath grouper. Because when they're very young, it's hard to tell between a black grouper and a Goliath grouper. But there's always a stripe on the tail on a Goliath grouper. Sometimes it's only 1 stripe. And there you can plainly see 4 stripes. So Russ took a phenomenal picture.
One of my favorite pictures so far.
Yeah.
I love that picture.
It's absolutely my favorite picture of the whole trip.
A picture like that becomes the album cover for a trip like that.
Absolutely.
Right?
It does.
Yeah.
It's if you look at my phone, I mean, you see what the picture is. I mean, it's absolutely
exactly
that picture.
Right. Yeah.
So it's soon to be.
That's what it's all about.
That it is.
Isn't it? It's the photo you put on your wallpaper or your desktop to capsulize your weekend or
I'm actually having this framed. And one of the reasons is, first of all, it's a great fish to catch when you're a fisherman. You have a list of fish in your life that you want to hold, take a picture with, and this is one right here. Now, mind you, that is not my fish. Eventually, I will get a fish like that. But
that's great, though, because he's front and center holding the fish. I would even hang that photo in my room. I would even
absolutely,
like a copy of that. I mean, even though you and Nikki, I would hang it.
It's a great, it's a hanger.
It's a great photo. It's a great photo.
So, kudos to Russ Rollins. He was down there with us. He's actually the one that hooked us up with the room. His girlfriend Wendy's aunt was, needed someone to buy the room. The keys for a week, I said, sold. Yeah. Absolutely. This is sold. This is Hawks Nest, a beautiful, beautiful place, man. So we, it was they had a room. We had 5 people in our room or 4 people in our room. 4 or 5, it was come and go. We had friends come and go. So
yeah, sure, 9 or 10 of you total.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, it was just a great time. We had I met her aunt and uncles, and I mean, it's just such great people. I mean, the whole place was great people. As you know, last week we had someone call the show that was actually there.
How bizarre was that?
I never got to meet the guy. You
never met him.
He's there. I had to meet him because we crossed paths, and then. Oh, you know what? Now that I'm thinking about it, it was George. It was my neighbor upstairs.
George, yeah.
Yes. Okay, I did meet the guy.
So you're putting 2 and 2 together.
Yeah, some
live on the show. This is awesome.
How does that happen?
I can see the synaptics firing right before my eyes.
Just blowing up. Can you see it in my eyes? So, in that day, I mean, it was just, we got the boat right away. We went offshore trolling. We didn't have any luck offshore trolling. The waves are about 2 to 3 foot waves. And they eventually got 4 to 5 foot waves. Now, anytime you measure a wave, you measure crest to crest, and you measure by time. So these were 2 to 3 about every 5 seconds.
Okay.
Which is rough, but not super rough.
Yeah,
it's
sure.
doable.
Yeah.
Then as that 5 seconds closes in to 1 to 2,
and
then
the size of the boat plays a big part on
it really does.
The roughness factor.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And we rented Nick had actually rented a 23-foot Boston Whaler, which I would recommend that hull to anybody. I mean, yeah, absolutely. We absolutely fell in love with this hull.
Great way to test drive a boat for a week.
Absolutely. We put it through some.
Really?
I'm telling you, man. We went through some 8-foot waves that were absolutely scary. To where we had some really serious situations.
Did you get your deposit back?
Oh yeah, we got our.
That's a telltale sign.
The guy told us just bring a boat back, man. We know it's beat up. We know it looks rough, but it's a brand new engine. As long as
would you recommend this place to? Would you do it again?
Gosh, absolutely. Yeah. The place is Captain Hook's down in the Keys. We rented our dive gear there. We rented our boat there. I mean, we've got our bait there. I mean, we literally done everything through Captain Hook's. They treated us like gold. There was a smile every morning.
That's great.
One of the gentlemen down there, Justin, helped us out. We had the first boat we took out, brand new engine, but the trim button got stuck, and the motor wouldn't stay trimmed down. Thank God, once we got about a mile in from 20 miles offshore. It was just absolutely great people. That's the view from our room on the very last evening, Friday evening as we were leaving. That's literally the view from our room. Went upstairs to...
Can't beat that for a hurricane week.
No, can you just look at the hurricane? So right off that back wall, Mike, if you look past those palm trees, it went from about 1 foot to 30 feet.
Okay, so if I'm not mistaken, that right off that back wall, you're saying you caught lobster there.
I did.
So walking distance from your room.
We flipped off the dock. I mean, we literally put our gear on and fell backwards off the dock, and we were in, we were in 30 feet of water catching lobsters.
Wow.
This is where we caught our first lobsters. The wind and stuff was so bad, the visibility was so bad. We thought, God, we want lobsters. We wanted everybody to eat lobsters on the first day. The first day they did not. The second day they absolutely did, because we got the boat the first day, and as we were driving in, the depth finder on the boat said this was 20 feet deep. It went from 20 feet, 25, 27 feet deep, all the way up to 0. And I said, that's a wall. And where there's walls, there's lobsters.
They like the walls.
They like them walls.
Okay.
So we immediately put our gear on, dove down the wall. Now, mind you, we had 8-inch visibility. To the point where the only reason I could tell my diver partner was beside me was I could see a little bit of a silhouette. And every time we got out of view, we'd tap our tank and meet back up. So we would go up and down these walls, just drifting up and down. We'd air our vest up, go up, let the air out, go down.
Wow.
And we'd do it as the current. And we scattered up some lobsters. So second night, we definitely had some lobsters. And I made lobster Alfredo, so we didn't mess around. We really cooked it up. We did some phenomenal cooking there. But that is the things you have to look for. If you're sitting in your hotel and you got dive gear, you go, man, what do I do? Well, just look, dive out back, put your dive gear on, and go out. And I think I attribute some of our success to the willingness to go outside the box.
Sure. Oh, for sure. How many other people were diving off that bridge?
That's it.
Yeah.
Once they saw us diving, then suddenly there's more divers. The next day there was 2 or 3 people out there. They saw our dive flag.
You think you have to charter a boat and go 6 miles offshore to have any kind of...
And you don't have to, So, poof, there we were. We pulled up legal lobsters right there. Now, we had to sort through a lot of lobsters.
Too small?
Yeah, to get the legal lobsters. Could we have pulled up illegal lobsters and ate them anyway in that location? You bet we could have. But we're cheating ourselves. You know what I mean?
Because do you really like jail time?
Yeah, not to mention we don't like jail. They're not.
That's no way to spend it. Yeah, no, you did the right thing.
But it's those cases where it's frustrating. You got to do a lot of looking to get in there, and we did. So, on the bad weather days, we decided to go to Key West. I mean, how awesome is that? When it's raining and windy, and that's my first. As many times I've been to Key West, that's the first picture that I have.
It's iconic.
You got to take that
it's
picture.
Iconic.
You absolutely have to take that picture. So, what's funny is I actually learned a little bit that day. Just to the left of that, there's a little box. There's like a storage room, and it's actually the connection that connected Cuba to the United States via telecommunications.
Really?
It was the one connection. So across that ocean, the whole 90 miles, we ran a cable to Cuba.
That's crazy. Hello?
It's funny because they said the first thing that came over is, "Hola, I can't understand you."
So the cable didn't do any translation.
So the cable would not translate. That was in the early 1900s. So, and this is the first night we got lobster. This was off that wall, and you could see that we were pretty excited just to have lobsters. These were right at just a hair over 3-inch lobsters. They weren't giants, but we found them.
Would you have 4 that first night?
I think we had 6 that first night. You see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, we had 5.
Okay.
That's
all of them. Okay.
Yeah, we had 5.
And those are the wall lobster.
And those are the wall lobsters. The first 2 days, we just took lobsters off that wall.
That's great.
Trying to locate,
That's cool.
to ham in where
No, but you're absolutely right. It's your willingness to go. That we're not done.
Yeah. We're not giving
There's
up.
still water here.
Yeah. As long as there's water and as long as we can see, 4 or 5 inches in front of us, we're absolutely going. And this is the third night of the wall. I mean, we kind of stayed on that wall a little bit. So third night of the wall, we managed to get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 lobsters that night. Now, mind you, we did some lobster eating. We ate some lobster.
Yeah.
When you're in the Keys, you're catching lobster.
How many nights did you eat lobster?
I think it was 3 nights we ate lobster. Might have been 4. 3 nights for sure. We did lobster Alfredo. We did broiled lobster. We did I made a red sauce with a lobster.
It's a good opportunity to try out your different.
Absolutely.
yeah.
I just pulled everything out of the bag, man. I'm telling you what, I pulled no punches, man. I mean, I literally made some amazing meals out of these lobsters. I mean, you don't even know.
Wow.
Presentation was awesome. The food was awesome. So we absolutely killed it. And then we found this little spot. This was actually one of the first nights. Actually, the first night we put our dive gear on, we were like, lobsters. We found lobsters. Hey, Mama, we found lobsters.
So that was after you found them on the wall?
No, this was the first night we found them on the wall.
Okay.
That was us in our dive suit. We took a picture of we were excited. We were like, get a picture before they flop out of our hands.
So they're still alive at that point?
Yeah, they're still alive at this point. Yeah, they were like fresh off the wall.
Were there people around you just kind of... Was everybody down there lobstering, or a lot of just vacationers?
There was a lot of vacationers.
Look at those guys caught some lobsters.
And the people in that hotel, there was a lot of people doing lobstering, but the weather kept them out of the water,
Sure.
and we met an awesome guy there named Rodney, of all things.
Of course.
And he was lobstering off that wall as well.
Really?
Yeah, so he had what's called a 5-lung. So it's an inner tube. You've seen them. With the motor.
Yep.
And we tried 3 guys off of that thing, and I no.
Really?
Yeah. 1 guy, 2 guys, yeah. 3.
So he was just down for indefinite amount of time.
Just doing his thing.
That's interesting.
Yeah. With no boat. He didn't have a boat.
Yeah, that's it. You just drag that thing along.
So, yeah, he could just pull along and just stay on that thing all day long. And what you see here is a land crab. I mean, they're everywhere down there, and they are edible, and you're allowed 20 of them. And
are they like McNuggets kind of thing?
I would say it's a McCrab.
How big?
McCrab.
How big?
It's actually that shell is about 4 inches across. Okay. So it's a pretty decent, like you said, it's about almost softball size.
Okay.
More baseball, I'd say. A little bigger than a baseball, smaller than a softball. Okay. So apparently they're edible. I mean, they had some big claws on them. I mean, I could
some
get
big claws and some big yellow eyes.
Man, they got some yellow golden eyeballs. And at night, they were all over the rocks.
You didn't pick that up. You just took a photo of it sitting on the rocks.
He was just chilling, and I just said, let me get a picture of you, little buddy.
That's cool.
And then, voila, so there he was.
Wow.
So, and of course, we found a rock wall in there. And as you can see here, man, look at my line cutter shirt. I love that. I dove with that shirt pretty much most of the time. I did. And I just left my wetsuit off.
Okay, yeah.
And this shirt actually worked good as a skin, to keep the fire coral off of you. It worked great. I had no problems, so I kept it on the whole time.
What's with the Madfish bag?
The Madfish bag is a fish bag, and I met these guys. I don't know if you remember. We met these guys at ICAST.
Okay.
We won that Madfish bag at the big line cutters party that Vance had.
At the Blues place.
Yep, exactly. And dude, that bag kept our ice. We put ice in that bag, and I was like, do we ever got to change it out? I mean, we literally kept lobster in there for 2 days.
Interesting.
On ice. So, my gosh, if you're looking for a fish bag, that's definitely the one. This is our second day on the rock wall that we found. As you can see, we're loaded with lobsters there. We got 18 both of those days. And then, we had to sort through a couple hundred lobster to get, the good legal ones. And then we had to fish them out of the rocks. I mean, it was just a huge.
So were you taking the measurements under the water?
Yeah, you have to take the measurements on the water. You can't bring them to the surface.
You had your little gauge.
We had our little gauge on our nets. And on our, we always had 2 gauges each. And we had one on our net and one on our tickle stick. And that way, if we lost our net, then we still had one on our tickle stick, for backup. And I'll tell you what the key is.
Yeah, let's talk tickling.
The key to these measuring sticks is if you have 4 or 5 of them, put them together and make sure that they all are the same.
Really?
Yeah. We had some
that you wouldn't even think that would be an issue.
And how it became an issue is we had a metal gauge that was 2 3/4 inches, and our plastic gauges were 3 inches. So the legal size is 3 inches. So our metal gauge, finally, I'm like, how? because
found yourself in trouble with that.
Yeah, because we would measure. We had a measure, the metal ones on our tickle sticks, and we're like,
it was probably a metric 2 3/4.
Something. Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. One day merit cross country measurements.
Interesting.
So we're measuring, we're throwing them in the bag, and before you know it, we got a limit, and we get up there, and I always like to double check because you never know. You know what I mean? You don't want to get caught. So we get to the boat, we're double checking, and I'm going. So I had plastic gauges on the boat, so I just grabbed it off the dash and measured it and went, wait a minute. This is bigger. That's too small. That's too small. So then I put it up to the metal gauge, and guess what?
Wow.
The metal gauge was a 1/4 inch too short, and you don't want to be a 1/4 inch too short. I'm telling you now. That is a big deal. So we basically, out of 12 lobsters at that point, we ended up with 4 legals. So back down we go.
Yeah. Scram.
And I threw those things, I bent them up and tossed them in the garbage. So, when we got back, we had to see which one was actually 3 inches. So measure your gauge. I would have thought they
never would have thought of that.
Me either until that point.
Tip of the night, Rodney.
That is definitely the tip of the night because you don't want to get caught with that.
So, tell me about the tickling.
So, once you get into these rocks, one of the key things is tickling is an art. It really is. And I'll tell you what, man, I got stuck in those rocks. I got pinned in the rocks with my tank and all that stuff. And Nick came in and just tickled me right out, man. He was just brilliant with that tickle stick.
So it works universally.
I was like, man, I'm stuck, tickle. Here I am. Voila.
I'm free.
Saved my life.
I'm free. Thanks, Nick.
You don't want to be a terrorist because I promise you, Nick comes in with a tickle stick. He's getting that information.
Everybody's laughing.
So, and it's an art. It really is. And once you get in that groove, you can't just shove a stick in there and try to pull a lobster out of a hole.
Because you need to know where they're going. I mean, you have to have a plan, right?
You have to anticipate.
Yeah.
You have to look at all their avenues of escape. And you have to be ready with that tickle stick just to touch the lobster. You're not grabbing him and pushing him. You're just touching him. So you're just going to bump him. So if he's walking, they're not afraid of you. You don't see him and they go pew and they take off.
Yeah.
They take off when you bump them in the face or in the antennas or something like that. So you get this tickle stick around the back of them. It's got a curve on it, and we even bent it a little more just to get
around the rocks and stuff.
To get around the rocks and stuff. So you're basically just touching them. You're just touching them on the tail. You're driving them like you would drive cattle.
Now, are you aiming for under the neck or under the arm? Or?
Anywhere you can touch them softly. You can tickle them. That's why it's called a tickle stick. You're not jabbing them. You're not poking them. So if let's just say we have two routes of escape, in a pile of rocks, and he's sitting right in the middle, whichever, you got to remember, they swim with their tail. So if their tail is pointing at one avenue escape, you need to put your tickle stick at that avenue escape and just tickle him out in the open.
Now, they're going backwards, right?
They swim backwards, but they'll walk forward.
Okay.
They're all about the walking forward. Okay. That's what they want to do. So, and basically, you got your net at your entrance where you're at, and you just cover the hole with it, and you just tickle him till he crawls nice and smoothly right up into your net.
So it's not always just to tickle them and they shoot into the net.
No, exactly. You can hurt them right into the net. Now, the key thing to remember is they still swim backwards. So you have to get them to where their tail is facing in the net.
Oh.
And then you touch them in the chest or in the face with the tickle stick. And they'll shoot right into the net, and then you fold the net over, and then, because they can shoot out as quick as they shot in. Let me tell you what, these things are lightning fast. And there's just a couple of our biggest lobsters. These are, 1.5, 2 pound lobsters. The one in Nick's left hand is almost 2 pounds. So we finally found the big lobsters on another rock pile that we found, and by then the sun had started shining.
It looks like the storm is pretty much all but passed.
The winds were still crazy, but the storm had pretty much had done its thing, and it was, like I said, this was the second to the last day, and then that's the last day. This was our limit of lobsters for that day, and there's the whole crew. I mean, you got Russ, you got Wendy, you got me, Nick, my sister Susie, Tommy, and then a couple of their friends. Right off the bat, they're probably going to kill me for not knowing their names, but Let's move on to the shark.
Yeah, let's talk about this. This is a very cool shot.
So this
My
is
second favorite shot.
Yeah,
by the
this
way.
is almost a 8-foot nurse shark. Let me tell you a little bit about nurse sharks. When you're diving and you have these lobsters in a bag, these lobsters are struggling the whole time. Nurse sharks come out of the blue and they'll attack that bag because lobsters make a weird sound when they're struggling. They go, meek, 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 meek. Sound like little pigs. That's all you can hear.
Really?
I mean, it reverberates.
Really?
You know, and and they just kick around the net. You know, when you catch them. So, and even when you grab them, they're going wink, 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 like little
Really?
pigs. So, when those sharks and those big fish and they hear this noise, they know the distress, and here they come. So I'm going down this wall of nothing, right where I caught that shark. And I mean, you can see how big his head is compared to
huge.
my hands. My hands are, you know, what is that? About 12 inches,
Yeah.
10 or 12 inches.
Yeah.
And you can see I'm just getting around him, and I'm going down this wall, and I got this lobster net, and I'm face to face with this guy. Now they're not aggressive, but when they see those lobsters trapped in that net, they lunge for those
They're
lobsters.
interested. Yeah.
And their teeth get tied up in those nets. You can't let the net go because the fish is imminent death. You know, he can't get that net out himself.
Right.
So you would have to fight this thing up to the surface, you know, and fight him in his own territory and get this net out of his face.
Which you
So-
are definitely at the disadvantage.
Which you're definitely at the disadvantage. Not that they necessarily would bite you, but I didn't want him in that net. So here we are, 8 inches apart, face to face, and I went, that's a nurse shark, and that's a big one. So I just pushed the net, you know, away from me, as far from him as I could possibly get it,
Right.
you know, and then just kind of guided down and then swam off, and then pulled the net in close, and then I took it to the surface and tossed it up. Took the
So tell us about this here then,
Okay, so back to this.
because I'm just curious of.
So, well, you know, at this point, this is the 2 or 3 days in, and I'm wanting to catch a Goliath. Nick Russ had challenged Nick to catch a shark. He goes, "Oh, you can't catch a shark," you know, agging Nick on about shark catching. So, we caught more snapper, we filleted some snapper, and then poof, here we are shark fishing or Goliath fishing,
Yeah, sure.
whichever one will hit. So the shark hit my pole, and then the fight was on. I got a video of the fight, and then we got this guy in. So this was a big shark. I mean, you can't really. It's hard to tell in the picture, but it's a bit of a wide fella, and they have the most unique skin out of all the sharks I've ever touched, held. I mean,
Is it not as sandpapery?
it's not as sandpapery. This is almost like little microdot tiles, octagon tiles. I wanted to take a picture of their skin. It is absolutely amazing. I mean, if I was going to have a pair of boots, it'd be sand shark boots. I'm just telling you right now. You know, from what I hear, that they're delicious eating. I should have had a pair of boots and a good meal. I'm telling you right now. But, you know, we released him.
I think he was thinking the same thing about you, probably.
He probably
Look in his
was.
eyes right there.
But it was a absolute gorgeous shark. The largest nurse shark I've ever caught. So 2 of my largest sharks came this year. Obviously, you were with me with the sandbar
The fins
shark.
on those are very interesting.
They're just wide. I mean, and they're one of the few sharks that actually sit down, relax, and rest, and and do their thing. So yeah, it was absolutely, to me, an amazing catch. One of my favorite. And there's Nick. And that's, if you could look at that face, not Nick's face, but the shark's face, that's what I seen in a hole, you know, at 20 feet deep with lobsters in my
I would
hand.
think it was a rock.
Yeah, and that's honestly, I didn't notice
bizarre.
it was a shark until I got down to the whiskers. Once I got to the whiskers, I went, okay, that's a nurse shark.
But would you be more afraid if you saw Nick's face
I
sticking
would
out?
actually. You know what's funny is we're down there in these big pile of rocks, and the visibility is literally 1.5 feet. It's
Yeah.
the best we've had. And Nick points down, and when we were lobstering, we were pointing to holes to say, look at the hole.
Yeah.
Let's build a plan. You know, here's the lobster. You get it that side, I'll get it this side, and we'll see which way it comes out. So he's pointing in this hole, like, you know, here, 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 here. So I rush over, man. I stick my face right in that hole, and there's a moray eel looking right at me. I mean, I'm like
that's
3 inches from
Different
this.
story all of a sudden.
Yeah, and this thing has just got his gills flaring, and I slowly eased my face out, and I just gave him a particular hand gesture that. And we got to service. He's like, "Well, I didn't tell you to look," and I'm like, "We're looking for lobster. So what do you think I'm gonna
Yeah, you're
do?"
gonna look in the
he knew
holes,
exactly what I was
Look in
gonna
the
do.
nooks and crannies.
Stick
and
my face in the hole.
Great shot. This is another great shot.
So there's my sister. Me, Nick, and my sisters. This is like a family photo album right here.
Yeah, it's fine.
I'm super glad she went. Nick and I were contemplating just having this condo by herself, and my sister and I have never really spent any really good quality time together. And I'll tell you what, that absolutely made my day. I mean, that was just having her and her husband down there. Such great people.
Yeah, and that's a great shot. And I think with you in those shirts, they could actually see you guys from Cuba.
We didn't need the telecommunications line. They could see us. So, there's my line cutter shirts. So it was a good trip, man, overall. And this was with me playing with my HDR app. You can see I got a little off there, but
a little ghosty.
Overall,
probably can't see it on the broadcast, but yeah, I could see it. But you know what?
Overall,
it looks like a nice day, is what it looks like.
Yeah, it was the last day. You can see my knees dirty when I was taking pictures of everybody else with that app. I was kneeling.
So
down.
that is at the.
That's the 7 Mile Bridge.
Well, and that's at the base of your hotel, right? That's right by the wall.
Yes, that is right by the wall. We lobstered off of and fished off of, and like I said, you see how close the beginning of the 7 Mile Bridge is.
Yeah.
It's literally, like I said, it's just right there. So I mean, it was just that day we just had an amazing sunset.
Yeah.
I mean, we just couldn't beat it, man.
Yeah, nicely done.
Phenomenal trip.
So what are your takeaways?
You know what? The weather doesn't really matter. I mean, I know you like to see the Keys in its perfect condition, but you know what? There's a lot down there to see. There really is. So if you've never been to the Keys, make the trip. If you're thinking about hauling your boat, there's plenty of places out there. Look at what the mileage would cost to drag your boat down there and see what it would cost to rent. I mean, I think we paid $1,000 for the week. It was $1,077.
Now, how did that work? Did you hold on to the boat? I mean, did you?
We had the option to hang on to the boat, but on our dock, the way the wind blew, it would tear that boat to pieces.
So you parked it where you rented it from, but it was yours.
They told us to take the keys.
Okay.
Do what you want.
So you
it's
could
your
come
boat.
and go with it. You could wake up early in the morning. The boat would be there.
The only thing about their boat is you can't dive it. You can't do anything at night because their insurance wouldn't cover a night. Which, if you don't know the area,
though.
Exactly.
You wouldn't want to do it any other way. Anyways.
That place is real dangerous if you don't know what you're doing at night.
But you could wake up early in the morning, go out there, and your boat would be there. You
Absolutely.
got the keys.
You got the keys. You can have them gas it up. If you let them know by 4 p.m., you can pull it in there 4 p.m., have them gas it up and ready for you the next day. And we rented our dive tanks from there, like I said, and it was free air. So we could go back 3 or 4 times a day and get as much air we wanted. Now, we weren't doing deep dives. We were doing, 15, 20-foot dives, which is your bottom time is amazing. But average, we were 10 feet deep.
Okay. Now, they were able to, you got your tanks and your BCs and regulators and everything from them?
We got everything from them.
That's pretty cool.
The only thing I bought new down there was a new set of fins.
Okay.
And those long, super long fins, Mike?
Well, the ones for free diving?
Yeah. You're going to want those fins.
Really?
Mike, let me put it like this. You know how you kick a lot and you get leg cramps? When you haven't dove in a while?
Yeah.
And, you're really having to kick. These right here, man, you're like a manatee, just nice and easy. And every kick of your foot, man, you can literally see yourself zooming. Really? You go from a 9.9 horse Mercury to a 140.
Interesting.
Johnson. I mean, and you are flying. So, I mean, I am so glad I bought these things.
Wow.
So, yeah, I mean, those fins are great for free dive. I understand. You need that speed. You need that, not necessarily speed, but that effortless.
Wow.
You need a lot of thrust with a little bit of.
Never dove with anything
of
that magnitude.
Oh, my God.
Really?
Yeah. Hard to function with them. You can't stand with them hardly.
Tough to maneuver on the boat.
Tough to maneuver on the boat, or if you're coming out on the rocks. But, man, it's worth its weight in gold once you get in that water. It is so effortless. I mean, you're using less than half, 33% of the energy you would use with the short fins. And
no leg cramps?
No leg cramps. I didn't get a single leg cramp while I was in the Keys. And normally I'm paddling so hard that I get 10 or 12 leg cramps a day. So, phenomenal.
Wow.
Highly recommend them. Nobody's paying us to do it. It's just I found that out, and I love them. So that was one of the things I bought new.
Wow.
Did I jabber enough? How'd I do?
This whole thing is based on you jabbering, so
you're
doing your job right. So congratulations.
I love it when I do my job, Michael.
This is the Rodney Jabbering Show. It's what it's all about.
That's what I'm talking.
But with that in mind, Mr. Jabberjaws, do you feel like answering some
Dude,
questions?
I'm absolutely.
You've been on vacation. Are you back in the groove?
I'm in the groove,
All right.
You've got mail.
Letters, we get letters, we get
Stop, whoa, yes, wait a minute, Mr. Postman.
Send me an email with all the details.
Another freaking email. Another freaking email song.
mail time.
Yeah, I'm a top flight, hold you tight, get you there by daylight, do you right overnight mail.
I'm getting that one. I'm getting it, Mike.
Yep. You're honing it in, aren't you,
Welcome
Rodney?
to our mail time.
Here we go, Rodney. Let's talk some mail here, shall we? Let's see. Stephen from Clinton, Michigan, Rodney says, what baits do you like for topwater during the spawn?
Okay, here's the thing.
Break
I
that
don't
down.
use a lot of topwater during the spawn, but you know what? You can, because during the spawn, you remember, during the spawn, fish are bass. You know, most fish are very inactive. So if you use a topwater bait, the bed would have to be real shallow, and you'd have to be kind of in their zone. So topwater baits aren't very effective during the spawn. They are for the smaller bass that are not spawning. You know.
Okay.
So, but in overall, you know, in the overall scheme of things, a soft plastic bait that drops down is going to be a lot better during the spawn.
A worm, just a kind of worm?
Just
or-
worms or
yeah.
grubs or, you
Okay.
know, you know, something that'll drop down into those beds.
Interesting.
And slow fishing. Because remember, the longer you're in their zone, the more mad they get. So, if you know it's the spawn and you're seeing bass spawn, steer away from the topwater baits and get underwater.
Okay.
You know, start to get underwater. You're gonna catch faster. You're gonna catch fish during the spawn. There's always gonna something that's gonna spawn a little faster, and then you know they start feeding up. And then there's a time, you know, that's right at the end of the spawn where the big females get off the beds, and they'll be more aggressive, and they'll want to eat those topwater baits.
People like topwater because it's more action. Is
Yeah,
that what
they,
it is?
they like to see
like
it.
to see it come up and grab, and that's
Absolutely, it's a great, you know, but it's one of those things that you can overfish. You know, you can actually fish it during the wrong time.
Okay.
And that's the key. You have to know, and spawning is technically the wrong time to fish a topwater bait. Now, there's guys out there that go, I've caught topwater bass during spawn 1,000 times. And
Sure,
you have, and
yeah.
they still bite.
Yeah.
But if you're looking for the proverbial giant bass, you're not going to do that.
You're stacking the odds in your favor.
Exactly. If you drop it down below the surface and start focusing on bed fishing,
Okay.
you know, and fishing that pre-spawn and post-spawn.
I mean, the fact of the matter, when they're spawning, you're not the top of their priorities right
That's
then.
they're not about eating.
Yeah.
They're only striking to get you away.
Yeah.
So if you happen to have a shallow bed and you pull a topwater over it, they'll strike at it to get it to go away, and you may get lucky. But on the most part, change your tactic, and that's what I would say.
Okay. What do we got? Jason, DeLand, Florida. Rodney, how do you catch suspended bass in dirty water? You're going to have to explain this one to me.
Okay, suspended bass is bass this time of year. During the summer and during the wintertime when the water's real cold, suspended bass will find what's called the thermocline. So they'll get down in there where they're the most oxygen, you know,
Okay.
like us.
Okay,
I mean,
yep.
if we had our preference
Sure.
during the summer, we move to where the air is better and cooler and, you know, we can breathe better. Well, bass are no different. So suspended bass are those ones that get right in that thermocline where there's the most oxygen. If you have a 30-foot lake, the bottom's usually not it, and the top's usually not it. If you got 90 degrees on the top and, you know, let's just say 70 degrees at the bottom, the optimal temperature may be at the 75 degree and holds the most oxygen. They'll suspend right in between the two, and they're not very active. So you have to have what's called a suspending jerkbait. So that's where you got to whip in hard baits. A lot of Florida people have a hard time fishing deep water suspending bass. So, and that's why I have a depth finder on my canoe. I look for those suspending bass, those ones that are suspending off of humps in deep water. And you got to use crankbaits or rattle traps or something to get down there, even your heavy jigs and your soft plastic. So suspending bass in dirty water, I'd use what's called a suspending rattling rogue. It's it rattles and it suspends, and it's called a rogue, R-O-G-U-E. And what it does is, as you crank it down, it'll get down to your desired depth, and when you stop, it stops. So it
sounds like a Neil Diamond song. Suspending Rattling Rogue.
That's a great song, actually.
Yeah.
It's, if you've ever heard it. And it'll stop down there, and the fact that it rattles, it appeals to that aggression side of a bass. Because remember, if they're suspending, there's a good chance they're not feeding, unless you just bunk them on their nose. If you get close enough, curiosity, and then anger is what gets them. So
he's saying dirty water, meaning just mucky,
not so clear. Visibility's real low.
Okay.
So anything that rattles, those rattle traps, the red-eye shads, those type of baits are absolutely phenomenal when it comes to that. But it's hard to pull those suspending bass off with those baits. You need to get in that zone and leave that suspending jerk bait in there as long as you can. And then, and just swim it along and stop it and swim it, and that's the key. When that bait dives, it stops. It doesn't float. It doesn't sink. It suspends.
Okay.
And that's what you're looking for.
Buoyant, neutral buoyancy.
A lot of Florida boys just can't get used to those deep water bass, man.
That's an interesting question, and I'm no expert. It sounds like you're spewing truth.
I'm preaching the gospel, my brother.
It sounds like that's some solid information.
It is.
But even just the question, how do you catch suspended bass in dirty water? I mean, sounds like somebody who knows what he's trying to do.
That's a guy who probably has a depth finder, and he's like, I see him, I can't get him.
Okay.
What am I doing wrong? And that's one of those baits, one of those types of fishing situations where you have to play with those baits. You don't want to drop below them because they won't go down. You don't want to be above them because they won't go up.
That's an advanced situation, right?
It is a super advanced situation. Okay. Suspending bass are really hard to catch. And most tournament fishers will avoid those suspending bass at all costs unless they've got no other options. We're bank beaters here in Florida. We like to beat the bank for fish. But the fact is those fish aren't always on the bank.
Bank beaters. I like that. That's great. I am making note. Rodney's next T-shirt, bank beaters.
So, and that's the key.
Club. Bank Beater Club.
I joined the Bank Beaters Club.
That's great. That's great, Rodney.
Be careful how you answer that.
All right. In the 3-inch, is the 3-inch minimum lobster measurement statewide, or does it vary?
No, it is absolutely statewide. In the 3-inch, the law reads larger than 3-inch. So you have a 3-inch measuring tool. You do not want that lobster to fall inside of that gap. You want it to be outside of that gap at all costs.
Highlight that, right? Yes. Highlight that point.
Larger than 3 inches.
Especially if you have a gauge that might be off, which I understand happens.
It does happen. Wow. So you do not want that lobster to fall inside of that gauge. So read it carefully. Will they bust you? Probably not. If you got an exact 3-inch lobster, they're not going to send you to jail and take your boat. And,
wow.
And that's just not what they're good. They just don't do that.
Okay.
They don't do it. I've seen it happen, Mike.
Wow.
So, and I always double check my measurements. You'd like to do it when you're down there to be 100% sure, but when I get to the boat, I just,
Oh, let me mention again, since we're talking legal measurements, 3 inches on the homepage, Rodney Rogers. Again, FWC's put out a great cheat chart, quick reference.
Yes.
Cheat chart.
Cheat chart.
Cheat sheet.
Cheat sheet, or you were going to say chart.
Chart sheet.
Both.
Yeah, both of them.
You squeezed it in.
They put them both out there.
I will tell you that you do not want to squeeze in the chart at the same time. The sheet and the chart. It's a bad deal, dude. I'm telling you, you don't want to go down that road.
But on the we've made it really convenient for you. We put it on the homepage of Rodney Rogers right there. Click on it, download it. It's a PDF. It's a page long, 2 pages actually. Print it out, keep it on your smartphone, keep it on your fridge, in your glove box. Quick reference to all the stuff: bag limits, sizes, where to measurement.
Yes.
Check it out. You're gonna want to print it out as soon as you see it. It's nice colored pictures on it. It's easy to understand, including the, hey, 3 inches on the lobster.
Yes.
On the Parkissimus, what it's called?
Carapace.
Carapace.
The Parkissimus. That was my Roman name back in the day. Parkissimus.
That is very Roman.
Come hither, boy.
That is very Roman. Rodney.
Yes. Yes, Parkissimus.
Come forth.
Come forth, Parkissimus.
Parkissimus. Do you feel like having some fun?
I do. I always like to have some fun.
Let's have some fun, Rodney. All right.
Let's do it.
Let me back the music off a little bit so I can hear your voice. This has nothing to do with outdoors. Are you fine with that?
I'm perfectly fine with that.
Okay. Which one are you, Rodney?
Oh, I'm the scruncher, man.
The
I'm a total
conversation of the age. I ran across this and I thought, you know what? I would like to do this with my buddy Rodney.
Yes, you get to know me. I'm that scruncher guy.
You're the scrunch. I'm somewhere in between.
Are you?
Yeah, I could go either way. Depends who's looking.
Yeah, that's true. I got you.
Depends
I
who's
got you.
looking. All right, how about
Okay.
this one?
That's a tough one, man. I'm a Coke guy. I think totally Coke.
I think so too. I was raised Pepsi, but I think I'm more of a Coke guy.
Yeah.
All right, which one are you, Rodney?
Oh, I'm a towel dude. There's no umbrella here, brother.
Really?
Yeah, I don't umbrella.
Yeah, I'm an umbrella dude.
Yeah, and there's a 99% chance I have forgotten the towel. I assure you.
Yeah.
I'm
See,
gonna
you're-
lay my shirt on
You're,
the
you're
sand.
just
guy.
a hey, I don't mind the sand guy.
Right. I'm like, well, I'm here. Absolutely.
I mean, you can't tell with me, but I'm a redhead.
yes.
I need the umbrella.
You gotta.
I need all the help I can get.
I totally get it.
Right?
I totally get
How
it.
about this one, Rodney?
Google. I don't even know. I didn't know there was a Bing. What's a Bing do?
It's got a, walla bing bang. You've
I
heard
got
that
you,
before.
I got you.
I
When you
think-
bang your head on
I
a
think
rock.
98% of people, maybe 99, are going to be Google people. Here we go.
Should we be Bing
This
people?
one I knew. I thought of you when I saw this one, Rodney.
You thought of me right away,
Yeah,
huh?
Pokemon. Are you a red Pokemon or a blue Pokemon, Rodney?
Well, I don't even know what a Pokemon is. So if I was gonna be a Pokemon, it'd be a blue Pokemon.
yeah, I guess we're boys.
Yeah.
Here's one. Crust or no crust on
Oh,
your
I
pizza?
knocked that crust out. You see that oil on that box? I will suck the oil out of the cardboard.
That oily, crusty box, I would hang that on my living room wall. That
That's
picture right
what
there.
I'm-
That's art.
It looks like a Sasquatch footprint, actually, is what it looks like.
That is art in its finest.
It
Here's
is.
one for you, Rodney.
Oh man, I could go either way here, but I'm a dipper. Yeah,
I'm a dipper. I think it depends on the fry.
It does. Like
Depends
you
on
do,
how they're served.
it's like those Steak and Shake skinny fries.
Yeah.
I gotta
Oof.
drizzle those
Oof,
guys.
oof,
You know
oof,
what I
oof.
mean?
Here we go. Drums or wings?
I'm a wing guy. I
Hey.
like the flats. The right to the ones to the
yeah, I
right.
think I am too.
I just like to bite the whole thing in one shot.
yeah,
and
speaking
get
of
it
wings,
over
I
with.
think we're about 20 minutes from wings, so
Exactly,
let's keep
right
this
on.
thing rolling here. Here's one for you.
Separate. Hands down, I'm separate. I never put that. I never have a cream cheese sandwich.
I'm with you on the separate.
I'm the left. I'm the left, dude. I know you. You're the right guy. I know Mike.
I am the right guy.
I will go crazy if any of those say one. But you look in my truck and all hell broke loose in
So
my
you
truck. I mean,
need it to zero out.
I gotta zero it out. It kills me to see anything anywhere. And that's my problem. When I see my text, I'll look at the text just to get it to go away and forget to answer it. Have you ever done that?
Yeah, that's the problem.
It's a bad thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
I like it zeroed out, but I've given up.
I get it.
Yeah, right? I mean, fact of the matter is
Absolutely.
I've given up.
I totally get it.
All right, which one are you, Rodney? Hat forward, hat backwards?
I'm forward guy. I'm not a hat backwards guy. To me, the hat backwards guy says douche,
Yeah.
and you're kind of defeating the whole purpose of having a hat.
I actually used to be a hat backwards guy until you called me a douche.
I'm sorry, dude.
I spun it around.
Only
ever since
cool
then.
guys are not
Ever
douches.
since then, I've been a hat forward guy for sure. Oh, here we go.
Oh, I'm a totally snooze dude, man. That's me. I can't. I'm a snoozer.
This is an awesome screenshot.
It is.
I gotta bring this full screen in case those people can't see it.
It is absolutely brilliant.
I am 100% the guy on the left.
Oh yeah, me too.
And
100%.
My wife right now, I know she's about 3 seconds behind this broadcast.
You're exactly.
She will contest that I am definitely the
Definitely the
snooze
snoozer.
master.
Snooze master.
Ebooks or books?
Books. I'm old fashioned.
I am too.
I like to flip the pages, man.
Yeah, you know what's happened? I am an ebooks I'm a book person,
Right.
but my iPad and my phone are both stacked with ebooks now that I never read. It's too
Right,
easy
right.
to stash them away you don't read them.
Yeah, yeah.
But here I like taking a hard copy of something,
Flip it.
taking the
You know
book.
what?
It's I don't know, something.
It's something to be said about flipping on my reading light beside the bed,
Yeah.
putting on my glasses, and reading. Yeah, I love it.
Yep.
I absolutely. Yeah, book guy.
Here's an easy one. Chocolate vanilla.
I'm a vanilla guy.
Are you a Neapolitan guy?
No.
I'm fine with the chocolate and the strawberry, but why put the? I mean,
Yeah,
chocolate and vanilla.
vanilla.
Why put the
Where'd
strawberry?
strawberry come from? Who eats the strawberry?
And where'd the Neapolitan word come from?
Who knows, Mike?
Chocolate.
We can't make sense of this.
I'll take
crazy
either one of
world.
these.
Yes, actually, I'll take either one. But if it was the only two, vanilla be it.
This is a good one.
Oh yeah.
This is a good one.
Oh, I see. Yeah, I'm an exact dollar guy.
You have to round it off before you can stop pumping.
I do. I can't now. The gallons, I don't. I could care. And for
Yeah,
me,
but
it's
no
too-
dollars. You want to round off on an even dollar.
Yeah,
something or
exactly. That's totally me. Ketchup, mustard. I love both, but I could put ketchup on a rock.
other. Right. Exactly.
Yeah. If I got a corn dog, that thing's gonna be a mustard dog.
Wait,
Total-
who's running the music here? What kind of circus is this?
Exactly.
I am definitely a ketchup dude.
Yeah, me too.
Ketchup.
Yeah.
I'll take mustard sometimes, but only if there's no ketchup.
Yeah.
Right.
I got you, man.
We're bringing it home, Rodney. Vertical,
All right.
horizontal.
Vertical. I can't function with that thing horizontal unless I'm watching a video.
Yeah. Definitely vertical.
Yeah, vertical.
Definitely vertical.
You get one hand still functioning.
Sometimes I forget that I can actually turn my phone sideways and use it that way.
Absolutely. Yeah, me too.
But here's the PSA of the night. Folks, if you're shooting video,
Yes, please. For
crying
God's
out loud.
sake,
turn the thing
turn it
sideways.
sideways.
You don't want to be that person.
I'm always yelling at people, stop, don't do that.
Pen or pencil?
Never done it.
No, it's not a crossword puzzle
Oh,
question.
okay.
This is a-
Pencil. Pencil. I like a pencil.
You're a pencil. Yeah, I'm more of a pen person, I must
I
say.
thought it was crossword. I'm a sandwich diagonal slicer.
You know what? Kim made me a sandwich this weekend, and we had this conversation. Do
Yes.
you like it straight across? Do you like it at diagonal?
That's a legitimate question.
And I'm like, just give me the sandwich.
Subscribe.
Put the food here, and of course, the question of all questions.
To me, it's on the back of the toilet, so it really doesn't matter how. If I put mine on a roll, you could tell there's been a woman in my house because there's a toilet. Yeah. I will never put it.
Neither
on
one
a
of these
roll.
pictures
Neither,
exist in your
do
house.
Do not apply.
You had to take a second look at this
Yes.
and figure out what we're talking
I
about.
gotta hold it in my hand and know that it's going to come off as I request.
That's funny. That's funny, Rodney Rogers.
So, Mike, let's just holler a couple things out
Let's
here.
do it.
The
Oh, my
17th, I'll be
goodness.
back down there with J.D. Bates fishing
Get outta
there.
here, really?
Snakehead
What's
tournament.
wrong with you?
They make an awesome bait, man. I'm telling you, they jam out on these awesome baits. We'll be this weekend, Mike. We'll be at the world's largest and only squirrel cook-off
If you don't
championship.
If you don't like Rodney Rogers Outdoors on Facebook, do it now.
Yes.
Now, you can follow. I'm going to say this now, Rodney.
Do it.
I'm going to bust your chops a little
Bust
bit on
my
the air.
chops.
80% of your broadcasting last week was on your personal page.
I gotta get that down,
Not on
man. I know.
But this weekend, I'm telling the viewers out there,
Yes.
it will be on the Rodney Rogers Outdoors
Mike-
page.
Mike will
I will
keep you
be
straight.
there to make sure it's going out on the right page.
I gotta get that down.
There's nothing wrong with your personal page.
I know, man. Shame on me.
So follow along because it's. I don't know what the weekend holds. All I know is we're getting on a plane Friday night and we're going up to Bentonville, Arkansas for a
Bentonville,
squirrel.
Arkansas.
We're
And
going to
Mike,
have some squirrel. We're going to do
of
some
everything.
Facebook Lives. We're going to bring some videos home. We're going
it's
to
going to be a phenomenal blast. And Monday morning when we return, guess what we'll be doing, Mike Coy? 104.1. We have an 8 o'clock spot every Monday morning on 104.1 with Russ and the Monsters. We'll get to do our thing for 15 minutes every Monday. How awesome is that?
It's worthy of repeating, Rodney.
Russ hooked us up. Thank you so much, Russ Rollins. He hung down there with us in the Keys this weekend. So every Monday at 8 a.m., check us out on Real Radio 104.1. Our lights are going out. You get to hang out with us and the Monsters. They always make fun of me. I recommend that they do. There's so much more to talk about, Mike, and our lights are going out. The show's going down. 104.1 Monday mornings at 8 o'clock.
I love it, love it, love it.
You're going to want to stay tuned because it's going to get exciting. And as my mama said 18 million times, you kids get outside and stay.